district as a result. You'll see 5 FTEs that we're bringing in on probationary contract. That's just our standard approach, the first 60 days per the contracts. And we like seeing those, a few paras. As you'll note, there are a few that are coming on that are new due to increased need in these ESC classrooms. The rest of the report is fairly straightforward. Are there any questions? And this is an action item, so superintendent recommends that the board approve item 8.2 on the HR report.
I'll make a motion to approve item 8.2 as presented.
Second.
We're going, at the end of the meeting, that's going to be part of the consent agenda.
This is not part of the
This is,
consent.
he said it was, she said it was action.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
All right. Bob moved, Mr.
Yes.
Bell second. Mr. Bibb,
Yes.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mrs. Jonas,
Yes.
Dr. Simmons,
Yes.
Dr. Strickler.
Abstain. And Rob and I talked, we'll do a better job of getting my husband's supplementals in one meeting next year, as opposed to having them all run from, when you're in 5 buildings, they all come in at different times, so we'll get it together.
You have to get him in line.
Item 9.1, resolution declaring impractical transportation. Mr. Eckert.
Who was it this time?
Good evening. Yes, I just have 2 resolutions. The first one, as Mr. Bibb said, 9.1 is the declaring impractical transportation revised, as is we have done previous board meetings. And the second resolution is 9.2, resolution authorizing advertisement and solicitation for bids for an air handling unit in Turpin's natatorium. Thank you for helping with the natatorium. That is a full replacement of the system. The system's reached its end of useful life, and the natatorium is a very important air handling system. Yes, it is. So we need to make sure we were up and running with that appropriately.
John, was that unit replacement part of the permanent improvement plan schedule, or is this?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
okay.
is part of, it did come forward a year.
Okay.
It did come forward
That's
a
what-
year, but
yep.
yes, it was on the plan.
John, my question is about the impractical transportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Are these new students
Yes.
or who are moving? So are they leaving Forest Hills and going to these schools, or have they?
Now, what these, not that I'm aware of, most of these are, if I'm looking at the dates,
And is there a cutoff to claim these funds? Because we're seeing this report now every month, and
Sadly,
when we
no.
first got on, you saw it one time a year.
but once no, but what's happening is because we do provide parents talk. Some people have chosen not to take it or have not even looked into it, and then they find out it's happening, so
Hey, free money.
they grab onto it.
But I guess to Sarah's point, could someone hop in next month and start claiming it, or do they have to do it by a certain date?
Let me get back to you on the cutoff. There is a cutoff at some point, but it's not very.
If these are students that are leaving, are we doing an exit survey for them? I mean, yeah. Do we have any plan to do that? I mean, I know we keep on talking about that, but
Yeah, parent one, yes, we're doing. we're
you
going
are
to be
doing?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I recognize at least one of the names on this list. It's not a change. She's been at private school all along, so I'm not sure why all of a sudden
Yep.
they've decided to claim the
That's,
funds.
that's,
So
that's, that's,
Yeah.
the, that's the
I have a
people.
sample
They
size of
find
one.
out
That's the
and can
people who
apply.
talk, right?
But those,
Like,
yeah,
hey,
it
free
does
money.
make me wonder.
I would do it too.
A lot of them are all like one school, so I wonder if,
Right.
right, like they're just
Yeah.
like, hey, did you know about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just talk.
Yeah,
Yep.
just curious. Thank you, John.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Better
If
get these.
no other questions at this time, the superintendent respectfully requests that items 9.1 and 9.2 be approved as part of the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 10.1, overnight field trips, presented by Dr. Chuck Ogden.
It just drives me nuts that that's in there. It's like,
Chuck gets a round of applause from me for providing pins for everybody, especially the people who didn't dress up. Rob?
Once a middle school principal, always a middle school
I like
principal.
it.
What can I say? Thank you for that. I'm here to present 2 field trips at this board meeting. One being the Anderson gymnastics team for a competition in 2026. Both are actually in 2026. And the Turpin FBLA competition. Both of these requests have happened for a couple years now, and I do anticipate, just in case anybody wonders, Anderson's FBLA coming forward too, because they go to the same competition. So it's just a matter of when the requests come in, they're well ahead of time. Are there any questions?
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 11.1, Treasurer's Update. Ms. Cropper.
All right. So the first agenda item 11.1, is a resolution to update our third-party administrative and compliance provider for our district's 403B and 457 deferred compensation plans. The district contracts for these services through OASBO, and OASBO is transitioning to the Omni TSA Consulting Group. While I included both plans in board docs for your reading pleasure, this is a lot of paper, and really the only change is the third-party administrator. Voya has been it in the past, and they've had some personnel changes, so they've decided to kind of get out of this part of the business, and so that's why OSBA has transitioned to Omni TSA Consulting Group. Moving on to agenda item 11.2. Again, this is a workers' compensation settlement. We are coming to you tonight to request the approval of outstanding, for a settlement of outstanding claims in the amount of $13,000. This settlement has been vetted by our third-party administrator of workers' comp and also by our attorney, and they've advised us that it is in our best interest to settle this claim. Person has retired, moved on from the district. Actually, we've paid out these claims a couple years ago, but our third-party administrator is worried about coming back in later years as different medical issues may advise. So again, we're recommending an approval of $13,000 to settle these claims. Moving on to the treasurer's report for September 30th, 2005. The first item is always donations, and we received just over 4.6 thousand in donations in September, which brings our total donations to just over 7,000 at the end of our first quarter in our fiscal 26 year. Item B is always the snapshot of our latest 5-year forecast, which for this year is the October 25 forecast. Moving on to general fund revenues, again, you see estimates versus actual. At the end of September, we have received the final settlement on our fall property taxes. And as you can see, that's 47% of the total expected property taxes for the fiscal year 26. This item is tracking as expected, even though it is only at 47%. The spring settlement is usually a little bit larger at 52, 53%. Some people pay the whole shebang in the first half of the year.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Question.
yeah.
Alana, okay, so that's why the local share is 86%. It's a little higher than it typically is because that money's already come in and some of the state share money hasn't come in yet. Isn't it usually like more of an 80-20 breakdown?
Wait a minute, let me see what you're looking at here.
Just the pie chart there.
Oh, okay.
Item C.
Yeah, actually, this year it's moved a little bit higher. So yeah, it is. It keeps that trend of more money coming from local. So our estimate this year is a little bit
So
higher.
that's accurate. That's not just a matter of a higher percentage of local funds have already come in relative to state funds. Like
Oh,
that's-
no,
okay.
that's not. No, no.
Okay.
That's just, we rely more locally now than we ever have.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man.
that is just overall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be funny to look at that 10 years ago versus now. Or
Wait,
sad
Yeah.
I
to
just
find
saw
it.
that. Where was I looking today that I just saw something related to that? And they were talking about how it used to be
It's probably about half of what it used to be.
70%. So it was significantly lower. I have to figure out what I was looking at just today.
I
Mark,
saw
but-
that same flyer today.
What-
Yeah,
it
I'd
was
have
on
to
a
pull it.
flyer, You're right.
Yeah, it was a flyer, and it was, oh, I forget the group that put it out, but yeah, I did see that same flyer. I can get it and distribute it if you'd like, yeah.
That would be great, because you're right, it was low and
It's-
it was
it's
a
way lower
lot
than it used to
lower.
be.
Yeah.
I took note of it, you're right.
And, you know, thinking back, and I'd have to go back, if memory serves, when I first started here 8 years ago, the state share was like, our state share of local general fund was like 32%.
That's
So
the-
it is, our own has changed significantly as well. Moving on to expenditures. You can see our estimate expenditures, again, as you know, are very stable. You could divide them by 12. So with only 3 months or 25% of our fiscal year complete at the end of September, we spent 24% of our estimate. So tracking right where we would expect to be.
Sorry, Alana, I found it. In 1991, homeowners and farmers paid 47% of school property taxes. So you're exactly
That's-
right, Mark.
I knew it
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking up the, I did just go back as we were talking at the 10 years ago, the same month 10 years ago, and the state, oh, this is broken down by month. Never mind, I'll stop.
Yeah.
But it did, like, the state share was 47%, but it was just for that month.
Right.
It's just reported differently.
Still, that's crazy
It's-
that they're slowly just whittling away despite a constitutional responsibility to adequately fund public schools. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think some of the, again, some of the proposed bills it's going to be even less if some of those pass for next year, unfortunately. So, moving on to item E. I have item E up here. This represents the activity of the general fund cash balance. So you see the balance at the beginning of our fiscal year, 31.2 million, and after adding the revenues received and deducting expenditures for our first quarter, our cash balance stands at just under 42 million. At September 30th, our unreserved balance stands at 32.6 million, or to put it another way, we have enough cash to operate the district for 149 days, and after encumbrance commitments, we have 116 days of unreserved cash to operate the district. Moving on to the next slide, that shows our permanent improvement, our overall special cost center, activity and permanent improvement. The next slide on permanent improvement shows our summer 2025 projects. And as you can see, even though the majority of these projects were complete before the start of our school year, we still have just under $1 million in outstanding encumbrances because, of course, we don't pay until all the work's approved, signed off on. So we have to date paid 3.6 out of our total summer budget of 4.6, and we're waiting for the final payoff, and we'll pay those encumbrances over the next couple months. Item G presents the investment earnings for the first quarter of fiscal year 26 and for the last 4 prior years. So interest is certainly starting off strong with $835,000 collected so far. We'll have to wait and see what comes from the Federal Reserve meetings coming up over the next few months. But of course, it'll take a while for those interest rates to trickle down. So interest should remain strong throughout fiscal year 26. Next, you have our September 30th bank reconciliation and investments. And our last item on the treasurer's report requests board approval of expenditures that did not have a prior PO issued in accordance with ORC 5706.41D. That concludes the treasurer's report PowerPoint. Also listed on board docs, you have the cash position report, which details each fund and special cost center activity for the month and the fiscal year to date. So again, a lot of detail there. I respectfully request that the board approve the treasurer's items 11.1 through 11.3 as part of the consent agenda, which begins with item 9.1.
I'll make a motion to approve action items 9.1 through 11.3 as presented.
I'll second.
Mrs. Jonas?
Yes.
Dr. Strickler?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Dr. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Bibb?
Yes.
And Alana, I just wanted to thank you. I know I called you earlier to understand the Voya change, and I just appreciate that hearing that you guys had done due diligence, looking through those documents. There didn't seem to be a whole lot of differences between them, and so to find out from you that it was kind of a forced change and it's an organization that we trust to be making good decisions helped
Yeah,
reassure me that it was a
certainly
good decision.
Yeah, OASBO always vets it through a team of treasurers that set on a committee to choose them. So we feel strong going with it. We're sad to see Voya go. We round it back with them to make sure that they were indeed getting out of the business because we've been very satisfied with their service. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12.1, Human Resources Committee report.
All right.
Wendy, I think that's you.
That is me. So the Human Resources Committee met last week on October 7th, and Rob really stole my thunder with his report. So just to kind of reiterate some of the big pieces overall in terms of, where we are in terms of staff, FTEs. We are fairly balanced, but that's not necessarily where we want to be because we are down several positions in transportation. So again, if you know anybody who would like to drive a bus, we are very much in need.
And don't forget, in the wintertime, we lose a bunch of bus drivers. They go
For the
south
snowbirds.
for the summer.
Right.
Or for the winter.
So it is a concern. We are not where we want to be in that respect. And then obviously just looking at how our administration has worked very thoughtfully to look at how to reallocate positions as they become available through retirements and resignations to help meet the special education need that is definitely presenting itself in our district. It is incredibly important that we make sure that we have the staff on hand to meet the needs of all of our kids. And I know that's a major focus for all of our administrators. So thank you for that. We also talked a little bit about the training that was happening for those different staff members, just to ensure that we're really working to try to make sure that student needs are met, both proactively helping to offset the potential for crisis incidents in our school, but then also how to be able ready to respond when we do have those issues. And then I had asked the question about that kind of work with teachers as well, and using MindPeace as a resource, the behavior specialists we have in district, just to try to make sure that all of our students are supported every day across all of their environments while they're here with us. So big conversations around that piece of the puzzle, and then the other slides that Rob shared. And as I reiterated when he was speaking before, I think recognizing that the future think projections really do allow us to, at the current time, project stability in our general education staffing needs is a huge piece of that puzzle that I'm excited we're able to speak to. So those were the big takeaways from the Human Resources Committee report. So.
Up next is the Policy Committee report. And it's Sarah.
We had our policy meeting yesterday. Mind you, this is a first reading. We will have a second reading at the next meeting. The big legal alerts or updates came from the 2025 COPA rule, which is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule. The second one is the DOJ issued a new rule concerning the web content and mobile app accessibility. 3, it was the Supreme Court's decision to expand parental opt-out rights in public school. 4 was a budget bill change about release time for religious instruction. 5, bill change for additional cell phone policy. And 6, a non-discrimination revision. Again, there's a long list of policies for everybody to look at, and they'll notate in color any of the changes. The biggest ones, the 5136 was our cell phone policy. We're not allowing cell phones during instruction time. There was a March update about student supervision and welfare, which came from the Parents' Bill of Rights Act, and they define grooming in their policy 5200. Driver's ed time can be taken during only lunch and study hall, not curriculum time. And there was, updates for cybersecurity and whatnot. So that's about it.
Thank you.
Sarah, apologies. I'm
Yes.
trying to orient to this because I want to make sure I have them read by next month. I'm not seeing the cell phone policy, but is there an updated
I can,
draft?
after the meeting, I can go in and I
Um,
can show you how to look.
I think it says personal communication. It is.
Is it on the meeting agenda, or do I need to go in through drafts? Sorry. 'cause-
Probably through the
Through the
draft.
drafts, probably.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Because there are a good number of them that are on the
There
agenda, so
are.
I
Oh,
was
yeah.
just trying
Yeah,
to figure out why that
no,
one
you're right,
wasn't
it's not
there.
on there.
Okay. Okay, I'll go in through drafts to look at them. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not on there. That's strange. All right. Up next is board discussions. Anyone have anything they'd like to say?
I will. Parent Academy is tomorrow, 6:30 at Nagel. And they've got a class where you can, I believe, bring your students with you. And it talks about the digital balance project and about pausing on social media. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then my question for administration is, do we have an update on the Business Advisory Committee?
You want to know about the Business Advisory Committee? You want to do?
Take that to no.
I'm just curious.
I guess asking, like, is there any movement toward putting one back together?
Right.
Yeah.
We just need to know, is there a set number, or do you just want us to go ahead and try to
I mean, I
start
think what,
that group?
could you maybe try to do what you did last time with the announcement and let us know beforehand that you're making the announcement so we can share the announcement about applying for it? The business advisory?
To go through the same process we used last time? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I think you had put out maybe an application somewhere on the website, and I don't think anybody knew about it, and it came and passed, and
You do that?
okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to, get out the process that we used last time, take a look at it. I think too, we need to maybe review the purpose and see, what
Yeah.
tasks we want to task that particular group with a little bit more specificity.
Put that on the agenda for next time.
Is there not, I'm sorry, I know there is, I'm just blanking on the name right now, but there is an Anderson business group that meets
It's probably like the chamber.
the
There
chamber.
is,
Thank you, I was
yeah.
blanking on that. Is there a way that it would make sense to connect in with that group if we're looking at how to connect with businesses? I'm asking from a naive perspective. Is there a need for a different group, or is it how do we capitalize on engaging with the businesses that are already meeting?
Well, I think that's kind of a layered question. I'm not sure.
that's fair.
If you
Yeah.
look back at them, they would look at forecasts, maybe facilities, contracts, and give input on that, not necessarily businesses. You're looking at like business-minded people to do this.
Got it.
There was a
Okay.
great list of people that you had already, but I think it was just how it was announced and getting people to apply. I don't think anybody knew about it because the board didn't even know about it.
Yeah, we have a
Why don't we,
We have a policy 9141 that speaks to the Business Advisory Council that seems to suggest it's more in the line of providing professional development opportunities and employment skills, help. Some of the stuff that maybe runs parallel to what Melanie Hartong's been working on.
Is that
In the program as well?
ESC business?
yes, we're part of the Business Advisory Council.
This is something separate?
through
If you go and look in the meeting notes, you can look at
the Hamilton County E
Business
ESC.
meetings and what they did beforehand.
I guess I'm saying, Alana was saying we needed to find the purpose, and this is what the purpose says in our policy manual,
What policy did you say?
9141.
91.
I mean, I think how they had it before, I would think, it stopped during COVID. I think just that whole process needs to be brought back.
Right, I think, I mean, we can talk about this in real broad
Sure.
strokes. I mean, we have, obviously, we have Teachers Association, which hopefully bring the concerns of the teachers to us. You have the foundation, which strikes me as more of a citizen group for that. I think in the same vein, what we're hoping for is kind of a business group. So you've got teachers represented, you've got the the district represented by all the people with the foundation, and then you have a different one for the businesses, because it's one thing we don't really have a real big liaison with is the business community. So I think that's kind of what we're talking about is more relationships with them. And again, I mean, from my perspective, I mean, to the extent you start to develop a relationship with them and have them on board, at some point, hopefully you get some revenue generating opportunities. Because we don't have a ton of businesses in Anderson Township like you do in some of the other districts. So to the extent that we can utilize those businesses and try to capitalize on the businesses we have to generate a little bit more revenue, like I said, any dollar we have coming in.
Well, as part of the chamber, I think we have a group of people that we can also see if there's an interest there, as well as probably tapping into some of Melanie's contact. She's done a lot of work in the last year and a half, really getting a solid group of people and businesses to buy into our school, and so maybe that's the field
Or
that
way
we
in,
go
so to
after.
speak, or our
you
starting
know.
point. That's fine.
I mean, if the larger idea is to make sure we have relationships with these important stakeholders in the district, that's not what you're talking about.
No, I mean, if you go back and look at what they would go over, they're looking at the 5-year forecasts, financial audits. It's more business-minded people looking at the finances and giving input like they had before.
Okay, yeah, that's different than what's in our policy manual. So we may have to update what the board envisions the Business Advisory Council to be based on
You know,
its purpose.
That's from the past, so,
Yeah,
Put that down on the agenda for next month.
yeah,
Talk about it.
okay.
I
Fine with
was
me.
gonna say, yeah, it's your next.
Yeah.
Just include that as and just
An item.
get a handful of ideas of what those purposes may be, and then we can kind of synthesize that. And
did you have anything else?
Thank
Uh,
you.
I had a couple things. I want to just do some building highlights, a few of them. Anderson High School received the Governor's Thomas Edison Award for Excellence in STEM Education once again, as one of 76 schools in the state selected by the Ohio Academy of Science. And so it's just a recognition of the efforts of the STEM educators within Anderson High School, so that was pretty cool. Over at Turpin, they received one of the grants from the Forest Hills Foundation for the digital arts and photography students, and they created a cool projection map of the homecoming pep rally, and that's the same type of art that is typically displayed at the Blink Festival, if folks have been down there. And then I also want to shout out one of our assistant principals, Dave Haluga, who is getting ready to shave his head
No, I saw that.
as a reward for all the hard work that the students at AIR did in their walkathon.
Are you gonna say how,
Easy for you guys to say back
What's-
there.
Yeah,
are you gonna say how much
Yeah.
money they raised?
yeah.
Oh, good lord.
And then just one other thing I wanted to mention.
You
We
didn't say how much money they raised.
100 grand.
100,000.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you say it.
I'll match that contribution.
One other thing I want to say is, obviously, last weekend, right, was the, not this past weekend, the one before was the Anderson Turpin football game. And there was a situation where a candidate up for election in the current election cycle, a judicial candidate, was invited to be part of the coin toss, ceremonial coin toss, took some photographs with the officials, captains of the teams and whatnot. And you know, I was able to follow up with Larry on kind of how this process happened, and just wanted to communicate to the public that it is board policy that the board, that school facilities and equipment are not used as a means for producing or disseminating or supporting any political party, political cause, political candidate. And so that happened in error, and the district did not and does not endorse that candidate or any candidate currently up for any political position.
This isn't the first time. I mean, they do that all the time.
I know, and we gotta,
Maybe in the next Anderson Turpin game, we'll throw it up, and I won't be here, but have a board member flip a coin and see which board member wants to flip the coin on the field.
right, or, I don't
We
know.
do it for the parade, we take turns.
well, I think Tony was as surprised at
Yeah.
that as anybody,
Right.
and without going into
Yeah.
it, it was
I
not
just want, I mean, it's
school
the,
endorsed
it's
at all.
one of the district's biggest events of the year that gets a lot of eyeballs, the Anderson Turpin game, and their questions had come in about it. So just wanted to clarify that we do have board policy against that. Obviously, it's not been adhered to in the past all the time, but in this case, there was there's not any official endorsement of any candidate.
All right, I have a few things on my list. First one is actually a question for you, Larry. I was thinking as we were talking about the future Think Data and enrollment, that a few months ago you had shared some initial parent survey data that the district had just received and was just starting to dig into, and that you had mentioned coming back to share more about what the findings were around that. Is that something that's going to come back, or could that be something that we
thought he did share more.
address again? Because I'd like to dig into that a little bit more in terms of, I mean, I think it relates to all these questions around enrollment, student retention, all of those pieces. So I would love to dig into that a little bit deeper, if that's okay with everyone on the board. So, second thing was the upcoming OSBA convention and the delegate meeting. I had sent out an informational email in advance around the OSBA advocacy platform. So every year, the different districts who are part of the Ohio School Board Association come together and have discussion and then vote on any amendments to the platform. So this isn't any legislation that's happening. This is simply what OSBA is advocating for on behalf of all of the districts that they represent. So there were a few small wording changes within the document, but for the most part, there were 4 major conceptual issues, one of them being around OSBA supporting legislation in favor of local control, which is us here as school board members. So I just wanted to see if there was any feedback from the group here on that. A question about change to career tech boards and supporting legislation for more centralized leadership and decision-making around career technical planning. That's up for debate. Property tax, OSBA supports legislation that keeps local control of tax dollars that constituents have voted should go toward education. So that is in regard to some of the recent legislation that's come forth suggesting that those numbers could be changed at the will of
State.
some of our legislatures in the state, depending on our income, our cash reserve, all sorts of different pieces. And then the fourth one is school meals. OSBA supports legislation that establishes and funds a universal school meal program. Again, this doesn't mean it's happening. It just means that OSBA would be advocating on behalf of those initiatives. Any questions? How do we feel about those?
Fine.
Commentary for the good of the group as I go forth as our delegate.
I'll do item A for all 4 of them.
Item A for all 4.
That's for yes
You
or
noted.
mine.
What did you say?
Item A for all 4 of them. Because it's either A opposed or for it or
A for
B
or
against
B
it.
against, yeah. I'm fine with it. Agree with Bob.
I don't think
just tonight.
there's anything too controversial, so I think.
There really wasn't,
No,
but
it
again, I
seemed
just
pretty
wanted to make sure
straightforward.
that
Yeah,
we were transparent.
appreciate you
about-
sharing.
Yep, absolutely. I did
fun.
want to, is that, we good?
Yeah, have fun, because it can
Oh,
be
have
really
fun, yes.
long.
It's a long meeting.
Yeah.
Third, with regard to Mr. Nye's comment, I know this came up a little bit, I do just want to reiterate that I am very much watching what's happening with the Office of Special Education Program. I actually have colleagues in DC who I'm sure are being affected by this just through different grant work I've done over the years. The impact is significant at this point. I know we don't know what the long-term direct impact will be on us, but I can tell you that my involvement of OSEP has been through grant work to help figure out things like how do we be able to do a better job supporting students with dyslexia? How do we meet the needs of all kids across a variety of needs throughout all of our schools? So even losing access to those research projects is detrimental, and I'm sad to see what's happening there. I did put in letters to Senators Moreno and Husted today, and we'll continue to try to stay on top of being able to share what we know about what's happening there. I'm sure everyone here feels the same way. I will sit here and tell you I will advocate for every student in Forest Hills until the end. They all deserve to have a quality education in which they have the opportunity to thrive, and we need the support of our government to be able to do that well. So we will see where that takes us. I just wanted to share that a couple weeks ago had the opportunity to go to the Forest Hills Foundation for Education celebration event, looking at our distinguished alumni, distinguished service within our district, and distinguished staff, and it was so fun and so bucket filling. Teachers and educators in Forest Hills, you were doing amazing things and producing amazing graduates, and it was so fun to hear them all harken back to their experiences in the district and hear what they're doing now. So amazing opportunity, and you should all come out to Denim and Diamonds so we can continue to support the work the foundation is doing. And then just to hit upon those shout outs, the strong academic work continues. Jason hit upon great things at Anderson and Turpin. We had amazing scholars before us here this evening. Maddox got 5 stars on the Ohio Report Card. That should absolutely be a shout out. We also are seeing leadership opportunities in our district through different student councils that are starting up across the buildings. This month was the Mercer Eagles Council. And then we have so many great extracurricular opportunities. We heard about some of Nagel's, and service opportunities. Sherwood's Arrow of Kindness brought in hundreds of bags of clothes and hundreds of books and hundreds of stuffed animals that have been donated out to organizations in our community. So whether you're looking at academics or leadership or community or service in our district, I think we're doing great things. So kudos to all the hard work.
Well said.
Yeah. Oh, Nagel had 5 stars as well. Thank you. I'd only gotten through the elementaries. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, that's
Excellent
a
use
great
of
point.
Jan Brady.
Nagel 5 stars as well. Apologies, Nagel. I'm working my way through each report card. Yes.
Looking out for Jan.
I did mention the clubs, though.
Anybody else have
Yeah,
anything?
just real quick, 2 things. One, I will next month have the fun presentation on what we're hoping to put on the front page of the website. As I said, I was a little delayed by my return from Ireland, where I clearly got some sort of illness, whether it be Guinness-induced or some other induced, I'm not sure, but nonetheless,
If it was
lasted a
Guinness
little
induced
while.
and it lasted 10 days, we need to talk.
That is duly noted. 2, as I always say, everybody, thanks for participating in our fun Halloween night tonight. Next month, what are we doing? It's college theme night. All right, don't forget, we're college theme night. If anybody wears maize and blue, you will be banned.
Didn't
Just putting that out there now.
didn't Michigan get dropped off the?
Just putting it out there now. Oh, I didn't mean he'd have to show up. He just has to sit out there. And we are 10 days prior to the Ohio State team from the North game at that point. So I figure we'll have some fun with it. And as we said, it's always fun to have a little fun with all of this, because everything we're doing is pretty serious up here.
All right. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, November 19th. May I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Mrs. Jonas,
Yes.
Dr. Strickler,
Yes.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Dr. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Bibb.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.